This story was told to me by some boys in the beloved village of Ustye, in the Ryazan region, about 7 years ago. It was evening, and we had nothing else to do. We were competing to see who could tell the scariest story. They told me that a guy was riding home to Ustye from another village late at night. There are many larger villages nearby, such as Gliadkovo, Temjinovo, and Ogarevapokovo, where you can have some fun. In Ustye, the club had long been closed, and there were no other entertainment establishments. Even the school had finally closed, and the students had to take a bus to Gliadkovo. The young man was returning from a disco. He was riding an Ural motorcycle without a sidecar. The road was empty, and the cool night wind blew in his face. He wasn't riding particularly fast because the road was rough. I think many can imagine what the roads between villages are like. It was dark, and the large potholes that appeared on his path could only be seen clearly when he got very close, even with the high beam on. The guy had already passed more than half of the road when suddenly he saw an old woman standing on the roadside, hitchhiking, and asking him to stop. Where will I put her? The guy thought and drove past, but something made him turn around to look at the old woman. After all, it was night, and she was standing alone. Maybe he should try to give her a ride. He turned around, and she started walking after him. The guy felt a bit uneasy. He thought, what's going on? Man, forget it, and accelerated a bit. He looked back again, and the old woman was still following him, getting closer. The guy got really scared. Something wasn't right. He thought quickly, accelerated even more, and without turning around, he tried to ride all the way home. Suddenly, he heard a scraping noise, a whistle, as if someone was scratching his motorcycle with a pole. In a state of shock, he managed to make it home, alive and unharmed. He parked his motorcycle in the yard and went to bed with a pounding heart. He thought, where did that scraping sound come from? Maybe some stones flew up. Well, of course, I was speeding through that section where gravel from the river is piled. With these thoughts, he fell asleep. He woke up in the morning, relieved that the nightmare of the night was over. He thought that it had all been his imagination. He went to wash up, took off his shirt, and saw that it was covered in blood. Stripes of blood had spread across it, as if someone had scratched his back with claws. He tried to see his back in the mirror, and indeed, his whole back was scratched. How did he not notice it yesterday? Why didn't he feel any pain? The guy was in shock. He went to check if maybe the springs had come out of his bed. The bed linen was all covered in blood, as well as the mattress, but the springs were intact. He scratched his head and went to his motorcycle, and he was stunned. The seat was shredded into pieces, and the rear fender was scratched from the top.